right. Stream is starting now. Give everyone a few seconds to tune in and make sure the stream is working, make sure it's healthy, and everything is going up correctly. I don't even know how to talk. Okay. Let's make sure the stream's going well. Is this working yet? It should say I'm live streaming right now. Here we go. It's not set up properly. Okay, sorry, I don't have the stream titled properly. This isn't the same thing we did last time, but it's not titled properly. Can I even edit things on? Am I even signed into the right account? Yeah, this isn't titled properly. And that's me listening to my own stream there. No, go away. I'm just gonna mute my phone. Sorry. I have my phone open so I can look at the live chat, but it's not too helpful when trying to set stuff up. This isn't also, yeah, none of this is correct. Okay, please hold everyone. Can I just like lock it into the frame or something? Yeah, Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Right now you just see a black screen, or you should just see a black screen. Okay, is this working? Alright, cool, we got this set up. Next up, I just gotta make adjustments to the stream and then we'll get started. Sorry, this is taking a while. I'm not too used to live streaming because I haven't done it in a while, but Alright, let me fix up the actual... Let me fix the titles here. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is gonna be the season 3 press conference type thing. Basically, we're just gonna go over all the stuff for season 3, because that's gonna be starting soon. So I want to let you guys know what's happening with that, and what Incarnation is already saying tax fraud. That's how you know we're off to a good start. Also, my window capture is not aligned, which is even better. Thanks, OBS. You're very helpful. Okay. People can see this now. Awesome. That's annoying the way the black bars are working. Zoop. There we go. Okay, so yeah, welcome to the Season 3 press conference. It's not really a press conference, but basically this is everything you'll need to know about Season 3. Sorry if my voice sounds a little weird. It's just been kind of sore, so I'm gonna try my best here. First up, here's the title card, because, yeah. First bit of information, every race for Season 3 and every, intro and stuff is going to be uploaded in 4K 60 frames per second. The stop motion itself isn't going to be in 60 frames per second, but the transition and stuff and the animation and all the video clips, that's all going to be in 60 frames per second. Major changes, the schedule has been increased from 21 races to 22 races. New fictional team, Checkered Flag Motorsports Ganassi, joins the Trackmasters Cup Series roster. So last season, there was Checkered Flag Motorsports with Drake Mays and Parker Ness. This time, they've upscaled to a 3-car operation with 1 part-time car that's included in the 3 and partnered with Chip Ganassi Racing for more competitive equipment. Their roster is right here. Drake Mays will be driving the 7 once again. Ross Chastain will be in the 15. And Daniel Hemrick will be sharing not the 49, actually, that's incorrect. That right there should say... Is there a way that I can just, No, there isn't. Okay, I was hoping there would be a way that I could just... That should say 01, not 49. But that's close enough. Okay, So Daniel Hemrick and Daniel Suarez will be driving the 0-1 car part-time. Removed circuits, Watkins Glen will not be on the Season 3 schedule, Indianapolis Motor Speedway will not be on the Season 3 schedule, Irwindale will not be on the Season 3 schedule, and Burns Motor Speedway will not be in the Season 3 schedule. And then there will also be some new circuits, but we're going to go over those as we get into the schedule, not quite yet. BD249 likes food. Yeah, food. So now let's go over the roster. We already went over the first one. Daniel Hemrick will be sharing the ride with Daniel Suarez. I know this only says Daniel Hemrick. This isn't quite accurate, but this will be the the 0-1 car sponsored by Ollie's Bargain Outlet, racing for Checkered Flag Ganassi. Driving the 1 car will be Kurt Busch for Chip Ganassi. Brad Keselowski will be in the 2. This is all just normal stuff. Austin Dillon in the 3, Kevin Harvick in the 4, Ryan Newman in the 6, Drake Mays in the 7 with the that should not say Napa Auto Parts. Pretend that says GoDaddy. I probably should have looked over this presentation to make sure that was accurate, but that should say GoDaddy. Tyler Reddick will be in the 8 car for Richard Childress Racing. Chase Elliott will be in the 9. Eric Almirola will be in the 10. Hamlin in the 11. Blaney in the 12. Ty Dillon will be in the 13 for Germain Racing with an RCR Alliance. Clint Bowyer in the 14. Ross Chastain will be in the 15 with the sponsor of Florida Watermelon and and Cessna. He'll have those 2 sponsors as well as NASCAR, so NASCAR will also be on the 15 car. Chris Buescher will be in the 17 with Fastenal as his primary sponsor. Kyle Busch will be in the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Truex in the 9. Ghost Pepper is good. Tide Pods are the best food. Agreed. Lucas, you have a good... This is a very interesting chat. Matt DiBenedetto will be in the 21 for Wood Brothers Racing. Joey Logano in the 22, your Season 2 defending champion. William Byron back in the 24. Michael McDowell in the 34 from Front Row Motorsports. Ryan Preece goes to the 37 for JTG Daugherty Racing, switching over from the 47 he was in last season. Cole Custer joins Stewart Haas Racing in the number 41 car with the sponsor of Haas Automation. Kyle Larson stays in the 42. Bubba Wallace stays in the 43. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. joins JTG Daugherty for the 47 car. Johnson stays in the 48. This is incorrect. Pay no attention to this. Daniel Hemrick will not be in the number 49. This is an outdated roster presentation, I think, because I just copied it over from the one I have on Drive. So ignore this completely. Brett Moffitt will be in the 78 part-time. Alex Bowman will be in the 88 full-time. And Christopher Bell will be joining the number 95 car. I got a stop motion track. If you got a Discord server, I can show it in. I don't have a Discord server. Sorry about that. Okay, I think that's the full roster. I'm just going to really quickly make sure that I didn't mess anything up, because that's just the show roster presentation. I do have another one actually saved on my Google Drive, which is like the official roster. It's basically just this, but I think there might be 1 or 2 inaccuracies on this. Daniel Hemrick and Daniel Suarez will be driving the 0-1 part-time. Okay, this is all correct. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I didn't mess anything up. Yeah, I think I got everything right. Brett Moffitt in the 78. Okay, that's everything overall. And overall, 31 drivers with 2 of those being part-time, or 1 of those is part-time. Or there's actually 32 with 2. Sorry, this is kind of sporadic, but what I'm trying to say is that there will be 30 cars. Here is the schedule for Season 2. Part 1, Daytona is the season opener, Atlanta is 2nd, Las Vegas 3rd, WWT comes 4th, Bristol 5th, and here's the major thing, ISM Raceway makes its 2nd Trackmasters Cup Series race. The first one was in Season 1. However, this will be the classic layout. So you are going to have this little grass section here instead of the big infield, which might help spice up the racing a little bit. Kansas has its first Trackmasters Cup Series race since ever at Race 7, and the Nashville Fairgrounds returns to NASCAR as Race 8. Here's part 2 of the schedule. Rockingham makes its return for the Coca-Cola 600. Talladega is the 10th race of the season. Martinsville is 11th. Here's a bit of a shakeup here. Richmond is the 12th race of the season. Greenville-Pickens is the 13th race of the season. The ISM Classic layout makes its second I can't speak. Phoenix makes his second race here at race 14, and Darlington will be the last race before the playoffs. Part 3, Las Vegas opens the playoffs, followed by Idaho and Charlotte. That's the same as Season 2. The round of 12 then there's the round of 12 cutoff. Roseville makes its first points-paying race in the Trackmasters Cup Series. Kansas will be the second race of the round of 12, and Martinsville will be the final race of the round of 12. Round of 8. This is all the round of 8. Okay, hold on. Let me just make something clear here. This right here, that's the round of 8. That's the round of 12 with Las Vegas, Idaho, and Charlotte. Round of 8, that'll be Roseville, Kansas, and Martinsville. Hopefully that makes more sense. Important to note that the schedule is subject to change, so the official schedule might not be exactly like this one, but it's going to be pretty similar. Part 4 of the finale will be at Homestead Miami Speedway. Since it got dropped in real life, I feel like it needs justice. So Homestead Miami will be making a return as the finale for NASCAR. Playoff format. Points will be assigned on the finishing order of each race. First gets 35, second gets 30, third gets 29, fourth gets 28. I actually think this is inaccurate. I think second's actually getting 29 points. Second should be getting 29 points, not 30, so it'll go 35, 29, 28, 27. So juicy, yay, to make Bristol. I have no idea what this chat has become. Playoffs are going to be determined based off of the top 12 in points by the end of the regular season. Wins will not lock you into the playoffs, but they will lock you into the next round of the chase. If you are in a certain round and you win, then you advance, but they won't lock you into the playoffs. So now I'll just open this up to questions. If anyone has any questions about Season 3, I'll be able to answer them. The thing I might not be able to answer everything, but I will tell you when it's starting and whatnot. Might as well just go over that anyway. The first race of Season 3 is going to be the first weekend of the new year, so that should be January 4th or 5th, I think. It'll be on a Saturday. My plan is to just pre-film a bunch of races until then so I can get them out about weekly. Right now, I'm filming race 2 at Atlanta, so Daytona will go up and I'll have like 3 or 4 stockpiles ready to go. Roseville is in Roseville, California, in my home state, actually. The All-Star race for Season 2 was there. The Amateur Tour race 2 was there. So now it'll be making its first race as a points-paying race in the Trackmasters Cup Series. If you can, are you ever open to making subscriber customs? In general, no. The reason Drake Mays is in the series is because he was the Amateur Tour champion, and I said at the beginning of that the champion of the Amateur Tour got a ride in the Trackmasters Cup Series, which is how he ended up there. Why did you make Phoenix Classic instead of the new one? 2 reasons. One, I think it looks prettier. I actually think the new version of Phoenix, it looks kind of ugly, like with just how gray it is. It doesn't have a lot of grass. I really like the way the old Phoenix looked with like the big grassy infield and the yellow curb on the apex of the dogleg. I also in general preferred the older layout of Phoenix, where the front straightaway was much more narrow and you didn't have such a wide restart zone. And also, let's be honest, ISM is a really bad racetrack with this package, and I wanted to have the classic layout. Also because I thought it would be fun to make. How many cars per field? 43. There should be around 30 cars per field, but when the part-timers are racing, there will either be 31 or 32. Short tracks will only have 23 drivers, as it was last year, so the top 23 in qualifying make it into the short tracks. Bottom 7 are out. You should maybe add Michigan International Speedway. Michigan is kind of an interesting one, because I feel like making a race there would actually be really difficult to get like a good race going, because in general, I'd say in real life, the races at Michigan are pretty boring. So you would kind of have to treat it like a plate race, simply because it's a very like narrow one groove racetrack. I might consider doing that for Season 4, but it would be difficult to get right. Are there going to be did not qualifies? There will be at short tracks. 32-ish drivers will be going into the short tracks, with the bottom 7 being out. One thing, actually, you guys can tell me what you think of this idea, is having kind of more specific drivers enter at short tracks. Maybe guys like Garrett Smithley, or kind of some of the lower series guys that are like really good at short tracks, to have them show up and then maybe knock a couple of the bigger guys out. It wouldn't necessarily mean the bigger guys are out, but it might be interesting to have like a bigger lineup for those shorter tracks. On my smaller tracks, I got to do 2 duels in the top 7 from Gettin to Maine. That's one thing. I didn't really want to like overload myself with doing a ton of stop motion for the short tracks. But doing a dual race is definitely something that I considered for a while, actually, on the schedule, because I've been developing this for quite a while, since like before season 2 even ended. There was a fictional track on there called the Denver Fairgrounds, which I planned to have like a really small track that there would be heat races to get into the main event. But then I decided that would be like a lot of work, and I ended up just going with the schedule you have now, which is still subject to change. One thing I was thinking of is having a second Bristol race and maybe bumping up the schedule to 23 races. Not quite sure yet. Gen Cup Series races at Michigan, you do have to have them go like 4 wide, because Michigan, just in general, it's a pretty bland track. It's kind of like Auto Club, but without any character. Because Auto Club has like that really bumpy surface. It kind of has a lot. It's very fast, but it also requires a lot of skill. Michigan's just kind of boring. Just kind of, run the apron, and if you're leading, it's hard to get past. A good idea might be to have a flight. I cannot read. A good idea might be able to get a flat whiteboard or chalkboard to have any track you want. That's also something I considered. That's what the Mistcraft Cup series does. Only 2 problems with that is, 1, it's really difficult to get like precise lines when you have chalk. That's why if you look at the Mistcraft Cup series, a lot of his lines on the racetrack are really like, they're not very smooth, they're kind of jagged, and I actually think that provides a really good style. He has a really good stop motion series, but it's also really difficult to get walls on there because you kind of have to use things you can take on and off, and those kind of look pretty flimsy. So I prefer making solid racetracks. I feel like they look a lot better, but the Mistcraft Cup series definitely pulls it off, having like the cardboard whiteboard stuff. Oh, and problem with whiteboard. The only thing with whiteboard is that you get like a really white surface and you have to use whiteboard markers, which tends to look pretty amateurish. But if that works for you, do whatever you want, because it's much easier to follow what you want to do rather than just listen to someone else who has a different style. Must be easy. True. Can you make a leaderboard that rotates on screen? I am going to have something kind of like that in Season 3. I am going to have the leader being displayed and the lap count being displayed on like a very basic ticker. The problem is it's really difficult to score like an entire field and have the ticker rotate. It's not so much that I wouldn't be able to develop the graphics for it. I actually think it would be much easier because you wouldn't have so much blank space. It's more about having to like go through and each lap make like 5 different tickers for the entire field. It looks cool, and like the way the Mistcraft Cup series does it works really well, but you'd have to like score each driver each lap to get it accurate, and even then it would be kind of inaccurate. What else do we have here? How many seasons do you hope this series to go to? As many as I can, as long as I keep enjoying doing stop motion is my basic answer to that. Obviously, it might get a little bit harder later on in life, but I want to have this go for as long as possible because I really enjoy doing this. You could do top 3 or top 5. I could definitely do that. I know for a while in Season 2, I did the top 3, but it just got really, I would say, almost boring just when you're editing to go through and make the top and like put in the top 3 each lap. It's fine if you like doing that, and I actually think stop motions like that look a lot more professional. But just for me, it takes up a lot of time that I could be spending working on making the stop motion better or the other parts of editing. So in general, I think it's really cool if you do that. I'm just not really that into it. Okay, can't wait. Awesome, good. I'm building up hype. I'm also going to have a couple of different promos go up, probably later in December. Actually, I have one done for the Daytona 500. So yeah, there's probably going to be a couple going up. I just don't have good editing software or camera right now. I have my phone. Cool. I also film with my phone. If your phone has any sort of like camera capabilities, it usually works fine. If it's a storage issue, after you upload the race to YouTube, you can just go ahead and delete. All the pictures from that race because it stores it on YouTube, and a phone will work fine. Editing software is a little bit more difficult, but if you have access to something like iMovie, it's a great place to start. And if you think that you're getting a little more serious about it, then you can definitely start investing money in it. If you have a computer or a laptop, I would recommend stuff like Sony Vegas. I know my friend who also does YouTube. I don't know what he uses. I think something called like Lightroom, or something. I'll actually ask him and maybe get back to you on that. But he uses like an online editing software. There's a lot of online ones too. Some of them do require a subscription for like high quality video, for like high definition videos, but I think that having a video in 480p really isn't as bad as a lot of people say it is. One last question because I don't have any more questions. Will the winner get playoff points? And if yes, then how many points? Nope, the winner gets 35 regular season points and the top 12 in points advance. Then the points are reset for round 1 of the playoffs. There aren't any, playoff points or anything, mostly because I just think it makes it really unfair. You saw how Ryan Blaney actually did really well in the round of 12 and the round of 8, but because everyone else is just so far ahead of him, because I'll be honest, if playoff points hadn't been a thing, Ryan Blaney might have actually been in the Final Four. So might have Kyle Larson. But because playoff points just stack up the field so much towards the guys who have been winning throughout the regular season, which is fine. I understand why. But for stop motions, I think it makes it a little more fun to not have playoff points. Can I make a trailer? Yes, and there probably will be 1 or 2 promos going up for Season 3, and then I have one done for the Daytona 500, which I think you guys will enjoy. I don't know if I'll premiere it. Maybe I will. Yes. I have Stop Motion Maker on my phone. I can take pictures with it and record a voice, then upload it right to YouTube. The only problem with that is that with intros, like when you have your trackside establishing shots, a lot of times it looks kind of awkward to have them as stop motion scenes. The thing I do is I just take a video and I put it in my editing software, but I know that that's sometimes difficult to do with just exclusively stop motion editing softwares. My advice, if possible, if you have the means to invest in it, is absolutely to invest in just a general editing software and not a stop motion specific one, because I feel stop motion specific editing softwares work really well for individual stop motion projects, but if you want to do anything beyond that, it can be a little bit difficult. I'm gonna actually look up some free editing softwares. One thing I should ask you, one thing that is important though, which kind of sucks, is having access to a computer or laptop. Chromebooks sometimes work, but generally if you have just any access to a computer or laptop, that's generally where you're gonna find the best editing softwares. Looking up right now, I can try and find some good ones for you. Filmora, that's one that people really like. Adobe Premiere, that one's more of a monthly subscription service. So depending on how you budget your finances or whatever, Adobe Premiere might make more sense for you. Clipchamp, that's the one that I think Target Cup Series uses. Clipchamp is good because it's online, so if you have a Chromebook where you can't download things, Clipchamp works really well because it's all online. You do need to pay a subscription fee for high definition videos. Or wait, maybe it's not Clipchamp. I thought it was. I don't know, but a couple of them you will need to pay a subscription fee if you want high quality videos. But if you don't and you're okay with 480p, generally some online stuff works pretty well. VideoPad Video Editor, that's one that I've seen people use quite a lot. The only thing is, I'm sure it'd be fine. I'm not really familiar with that many editors. I've just been using Final Cut Pro because it works really well. But it's pretty expensive, so if you don't have the budget to go for that, absolutely go for just whatever works for you. In conclusion, the editing isn't what makes or breaks a stop motion. It might help it give it a certain look, but it won't make or break it. What really makes or breaks the stop motion will be the actual quality of the stop motion, and that you don't need any video editing softwares for. Speaking of just stop motion quality in general, it's always better, in my mind, to focus on having good racing over getting it to be perfectly smooth. Now, that might just be me, and that might be me making excuses for the fact that my stop motions aren't the smoothest, but I would say that it's important that you focus on having exciting racing while still maintaining somewhat smoothness over just going for perfectly smooth stop motion, because when you spend so long on making sure that everything is buttery smooth, you run into the problem a lot of times where it's really difficult to find motivation to keep going because you're spending so long on moving the cars just a little bit and you're really not getting that much done. So personally for me, it's way easier to focus more on the racing and have my stop motion be a little less smooth, even if sometimes it does come across as a little choppy on camera, which kind of sucks. I have 2018 Martinsville Fall finish and Kenseth Logano Martinsville thing. Awesome. That's one thing that I haven't actually seen a lot is like people recreating real finishes with stop motion. So I think definitely if you could find that niche, then go for it. It's kind of the thing about YouTube that if it exists, like if it is a thing that exists, there will be a niche for it. So if you're really into like recreating real NASCAR finishes in stop motion, go for it. I would watch that. All right. Other than that, I think that'll do it for this stream. Hopefully you're excited for Season 3. And remember, always keep creating. Because it's good to create, unless you don't like creating. Hey, what's up? Hey, Nira. Sorry, but we're, like, finishing up the stream now, so you kind of came in at an unfortunate time. Anyways, bye, everyone. Keep creating, and, don't eat live chickens. Kill them first. Bye.